Hey, what's going on? Luke here. For today's video, we're going to be talking about the return of Victor Radley. Now, at the time of actually making this video, the team lists haven't been announced, but I think it's speculated that Victor Radley will be returning this week in the Roosters clash against the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Now, I believe it was round 7 last year against the Dragons that Radley did his ACL, which is renowned to be a really bad injury, obviously like a 9-month layoff. It sounds like a lot longer than what it was because the whole COVID thing. So we're at round 3 now, and you're like, oh, well, he's nearly missed a year, but that wasn't the case. But yeah, it was a big loss for the Roosters at the time, and I think he's going to be a big return for the Roosters right now, especially in the absence of Cordner. Angus Crichton obviously has been carrying the Roosters in terms of the second rowers. I suppose I shouldn't say that considering how well they've been going, even with Crichton out last week. But in the sense of big names, Angus Crichton's the only big one there in terms of the second rowers. So having Victor Radley to be able to come straight back into the side, I'm assuming coming off the bench, but whether it's the bench, start and lock, whatever it is, he's going to add a lot of versatility, and I think his game will suit the modern game just to a T, just absolutely to a T. We've seen how much success Cameron Murray's had. Victor Radley is sort of a similar player, a little bit different, but kind of similar in the sense that they're smaller, but they pack a punch, have a good motor in them. So I'm excited to see Victor Radley in 2021. My only sort of question marks about him is it is a pretty bad injury, the ACL, and I wonder how long it's going to take for him to get up to speed and get back to playing the footy that we all know he can. I'm hoping it won't take that long, but sometimes it's 50-50. Some players come back from an ACL and they absolutely kill it from round 1. But at the same time, Radley hasn't had a preseason, so I think that's going to hamper him in the sense that he's going to have to get up to speed, get his fitness levels up, especially considering I feel like one of his best aspects was his fitness, was that he could play big minutes at lock, jump in at hooker as well. Now, I briefly touched on how important Radley was to the Roosters, but I think it's kind of downplayed in the sense that the Roosters have such a good side, but we saw as soon as he went down last year, I feel like they just weren't the same. And when it came around to the finals, you know, they had Sonny Bill, they had some other guys who they tried to replace him with, and it just didn't work. Just his whole aspect of the game, just the big hits, just the ball playing, he's just such a good player, and I think he creates a lot of doubt in terms of opposition defenses, and they were just missing that last year a little bit. Even despite having such a good side, they just missed it, and I think he's going to be huge for them this year in terms of them pushing for another premiership. 3 and 4 years would be a pretty good record in my opinion. I think everybody can agree. But yeah, in terms of Radley, I think he's in contention for New South Wales as well. Obviously hasn't played yet. We saw Cameron Murray's there, Jake Trbojevic. New South Wales have a lot of good locks, but the fact that he can also play hooker as well, I think means he's sort of a good option for the bench. So I can see him landing a spot there, but it all depends on how he comes back and how quickly he gets up to speed. Because at this point, we don't really know. And like I said, the game has sped up a lot, so maybe it's going to be harder for him to adjust. Maybe he's not going to adjust as well as what I think he will, but I think he should be fine. I think Radley is still young, only that one real major injury, and it's not like it's a shoulder injury or something. I know it's his knee, but one of the best things for Victor Radley is his big hits and his tackling in general. So I think he should be all right in that regard, and I hope he can actually pull off a few bell ringers this year. Absolutely love the Victor Radley big hits. They're definitely a highlight of his game, and speaking of highlights, they end up in a lot of highlight packages. So yeah, I think he does add a lot to the Roosters. He adds a lot to the game in general, and at a really young age, it's good to have characters like Victor Radley as well. Very well liked off the field, very well liked on the field as well. I can't wait to see what he can do in season 2021. Hopefully he doesn't get injured again. That would be absolutely devastating, and I hope he's not going to be one of those players who just constantly does his knee, because it does happen. It wouldn't be the first one, but come back from big injury, I think Radley, he'll be alright, especially in this Rooster side. It's not like he's the star player coming back in and expected to just lift the side. This is a side that has absolutely destroyed the first 2 teams that they've played and also have won 2 premierships in the last 3 years. So he definitely doesn't have to come in and try and lift the team. The team's already lifted. The team's already flying at the moment. Tedesco's killing it. Brett Morris is killing it. They got probably the best coach in the comp as well in Trent Robinson. Luke Keary, great halfback. Just a great team in general. So the fact that he can just come in and sort of, he's not expected to play a 10 out of 10 performance straight away, I think that's really got to help him. Like if he was coming back into a Bulldogs side, say like Luke Thompson, when he comes into the Bulldogs side, all eyes are going to be on him. The Bulldogs are struggling and they're waiting for their big bobber Thompson to come back in, their big money signing. And like I said, all the eyes are going to be on him, all the pressure is going to be on him. So if he doesn't perform, it is a big deal. Whereas Radley, he can come in, all he has to do is play half decent, all he has to do is just not totally shit the bed, and I think Roosters fans would be happy, NRL fans would be happy, Trent Robinson would be happy, because he has a track record of playing to an ability. So look, we all know it's going to take a little bit of time for him to get up to speed. It's just a matter of how long. But I think you can afford to have him in the side. You can afford to carry him on the bench in this Roosters side, even if he's not performing to his best ability. But I think it won't be long. I think he'll be there. Could even come back in the first round back and absolutely kill it. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what happens with Victor Radley, and hopefully he does get a name. named, because like I said, I'm making this video before he's actually been named. So fingers crossed he's actually named, otherwise this video seems a little bit silly. Regardless though, I am keen to see how he goes in 2021, because if he's not back this week, he'll be back in the next couple of weeks. So I think it is going to be a good season for Victor Radley, a possible New South Wales position for him as well. So we'll have to see how he goes. Leave in the comment section below, do you think Victor Radley is a huge inclusion for the Roosters? Do you think he's a chance of making the New South Wales side later on in the year? Let me know in the comment section below. Also, while you're at it, if you did happen to enjoy this video, make sure you go ahead and smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Also, make sure to turn on the notification bell. It is super important in terms of growing the channel, and also in terms of you just actually getting to watch the video, because we know the sub boxes, they're quite dodgy, so just turn on the notification bell and you're all sorted. You don't have to worry about missing my videos. Also, while you're at it, give me a follow on social media. It's on the screen right now. It's Mr. Luke on YT. My Facebook page is also Mr. Luke, so go ahead and give me a follow on that. Give me a like. Been posting on that a fair bit. Mostly just complaining about the Bulldogs, but regardless, been posting, so give me a follow, give me a like. But that's how I'm going to wrap up this video. Stay tuned for more content on the channel, and yeah, that's where I'm ending this one. See you guys.